Now let's look at what happens when the team receive a project change request. Here on our team's dashboard, we can see any current project change requests. In this case, there is only one, to extend the operating range of the drone from 2 to 3 hours. Now this change request has already been linked to a relevant stakeholder requirement. And of course, as we've already seen, that requirement then has traceability further downstream to other requirements for the aviary system, the Hummingbird system, and the subsystems underneath that, not to mention the models and the tests at each of those levels. How then can we wrap our heads around the impact this change request will have on the entire project? That's where Engineering Insights comes in. Engineering Insights, or ENI, provides a holistic view across all of your linked engineering data, regardless of which tool or database those engineering artifacts reside in. Now that makes it much easier to perform complex and time-consuming tasks like change impact analysis, and what's more, you have a much higher level of confidence that nothing has been missed. This view shows a full traceability path and all of the impacted artifacts, from the change request to the stakeholder requirement, then to the affected aviary system requirements, to the Hummingbird system requirements and the avionics software requirements. And those are just the yellow boxes. The aviary system has models and tests. The Hummingbird system has models and tests. The avionics has models and tests. And all of those impacted elements are shown in this view. And this is not just a pretty picture, this is live data. We can use rich hover to get more information about any of these engineering artifacts right here in this view. We can also use the view for navigation. Let's open that linked stakeholder requirement and start to enact this change. Notice at the top of the page here, there is a notification that if we want to make any changes to this document, then we have to do that as part of a change set. This project has been placed under change control. This allows the team to manage the impact of changes, as well as ensuring that changes are only made with the appropriate approvals, and that those changes are properly documented. As you'll see later, it also facilitates delivery of changes between different product variants. This little orange icon indicates the context in which we're viewing the data. In this case, we're looking at the stakeholder requirements in the context of the aviary base product variant. Later, you'll see the other product variant. But for now, let's go ahead and create a change set. We'll call that extending the operating range. Now we're looking at the same data, but in a different context. In fact, we're in our own private area, isolated from the rest of the team. Any changes I make to these requirements won't be reflected in the base product until I deliver them. Let's apply that downstream traceability view so we can see the linked system requirements. And we can now go ahead and start enacting this change. We'll edit the requirement and change that 2 hours to 3 hours. Notice that those links become suspect. If we navigate to one of those downstream requirements and then apply another view which shows up and downstream traceability, you can see that that link suspicion appears at both ends. Now, of course, we're now going to start enacting the change here. That's going to cause the link to downstream artifacts to become suspect as well. Now, in a real system, we would go ahead and propagate this change throughout all of the other artifacts that may need to change to support this stakeholder requirement changing. But of course, this is a very short demo. We don't have that kind of time. Before we deliver any changes, we can run a comparison, this time between our change set and the base product. Now that allows us to preview any changes before we actually deliver them. Now let's go and try to actually deliver that change. If I try that, ELM stops me. I've switched on change management, so I can't actually deliver those changes unless I link the change set to a work item that has the appropriate approvals. Now I'm working on a live demonstration server. There are lots of other people using it, and I don't want to spoil their day, so I'm not actually going to deliver those changes. Instead, I'm going to discard that change set, and we can move to our last topic, variant management.